The fluorescent lights of TechCore Industries' server room cast harsh shadows across rows of blinking machines. Richard Caldwell, the company's chief technology officer, storms through the security door, his expensive leather shoes echoing against the concrete floor. There, hunched over the main terminal with fingers flying across the keyboard, is a black teenage boy in a worn hoodie and scuffed sneakers. Freeze, step away from that terminal right now. The boy's hands stop mid-keystroke. He turns slowly, his dark eyes wide with alarm. Caldwell's face flushes crimson as he advances. Security, security, his voice cuts through the hum of the machines. I've got an unauthorized intruder hacking into our mainframe. Two security guards rush in, hands moving toward their belts. The boy raises his hands. Sir, please, I can explain. Explain? Caldwell's laugh is bitter, disbelieving. You're in a restricted area accessing classified systems. I don't need your explanations, kid. I need you in handcuffs. Employees begin gathering at the glass panels outside the server room. Phones rise, whispers spread like wildfire. Shock ripples through the room as the guards move toward the teenager. What Richard Caldwell doesn't know is that the person he's humiliating in front of dozens of witnesses is about to save his billion-dollar company from complete collapse, and it will flip the entire situation upside down. If you think this is shocking already, wait until you hear the twist. Hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss it. Trust me, you're going to want to see how this ends. His name is Marcus Thompson. He's 17 years old. Marcus lives with his grandmother in a cramped apartment on the south side of the city, in a neighborhood where opportunity doesn't knock, it barely even slows down. His mother passed away from cancer 3 years ago, leaving medical bills that still pile up on the kitchen counter like a monument to grief. Every morning before school, Marcus works the early shift at a corner store, stocking shelves and running the register to help his grandmother with rent. Every night after his homework, he picks up shifts at a fast food restaurant, coming home smelling like fryer oil and exhaustion. But there's something else about Marcus Thompson. Something most people would never guess by looking at his second-hand clothes or the duct-taped backpack slung over his shoulder. Marcus is a genius. Not the Hollywood kind with thick glasses and social awkwardness. The real kind, the kind that sees patterns in chaos, solutions in problems everyone else has given up on. When he was 12, Marcus taught himself to code using library computers and YouTube tutorials. By 13, he was building apps and websites for local businesses, small gigs that paid just enough for groceries or his grandmother's insulin. By 15, he'd earned certifications in cybersecurity and network architecture that most college graduates struggle to achieve. His bedroom walls are covered not with posters but with circuit diagrams, handwritten algorithms, and printouts of code. His laptop, a refurbished machine he rebuilt from salvaged parts, runs software he designed himself. There's one more thing you need to know about Marcus. 2 years ago, he met someone who changed his life. Mr. Peterson, his high school computer science teacher, was the first person who looked past Marcus's circumstances and saw his potential. Peterson stayed after school, mentoring Marcus, pushing him, believing in him when no one else did. You're not just good at this, Marcus, Peterson told him once. You're exceptional, don't let anyone or anything make you forget that. Those words became Marcus's anchor. Back in the server room, Richard Caldwell circles Marcus like a predator. You know what I think? Caldwell's voice drips with contempt. I think you snuck in here planning to steal proprietary data, maybe sell it to our competitors. That's what this is, isn't it? Corporate espionage. Marcus keeps his hands raised, his voice steady despite the fear. Sir, I'm not stealing anything, I was trying to help. Help? Caldwell cuts him off with a harsh laugh. A kid from who knows where, dressed like you're about to rob the place, just happened to sneak into the most secure area of my building to help. The accusation hangs in the air, ugly and pointed. Outside the glass, the crowd has grown. 20 employees, 30 more arriving every second. Phones are recording now, capturing every moment. Someone whispers loud enough to carry, "Is that a kid? What's he doing in there?" Another voice, Caldwell thinks he's a hacker. The security guards exchange glances, uncertain. Marcus's jaw tightens. He's heard this tone before, seen these assumptions, the way people look at him and see a threat instead of a person. If this part has you on edge, hit that like button right now. It lets us know you want more stories like this. Because what happens next is going to blow your mind. One of the security guards moving to restrain Marcus accidentally bumps the desk. Papers scatter across the floor. Not random papers. Network topology diagrams, system architecture flowcharts, lines of code handwritten in precise notation mapping out intricate pathways through TechCore's infrastructure, mathematical equations cascading down the margins like waterfalls of logic. In the corner, a notebook lies open. The pages are filled with detailed analysis, vulnerabilities identified, solutions proposed, optimizations calculated down to the millisecond. One of the guards bends down, picking up a page. His eyes widen. "Sir," the guard says slowly, "you might want to look at this." But Caldwell isn't listening. "I don't care what excuses he's prepared, get him out of." "Mr. Caldwell?" This time the guard's voice is firmer. He holds up the papers. "These aren't hacking tools, these are solutions to our system." Caldwell snatches the papers, his eyes scanning the pages. His face goes from red to pale in seconds. Marcus finally speaks, his voice quiet but clear. "You have a memory leak in your authentication protocol. It's been building for weeks. By my calculations, your entire system was going to crash in approximately." He glances at his watch, 6 hours and 23 minutes. The crowd outside the glass has swelled to over 50 people now. Conversations have stopped. Every eye is fixed on the scene unfolding inside the server room. Someone in the crowd recognizes something. "Wait, isn't that the intern from the mailroom, the kid who delivers packages?" "He's in the server room, how did he even?" Look at Caldwell's face, something's wrong. Phones continue recording. This moment is being captured from a dozen different angles. By tomorrow morning, this will be everywhere. Inside the room, the air has shifted. One of the senior engineers pushes through the crowd outside and swipes his badge. The door hisses open. He's breathless. "Mr. Caldwell, we've been getting system alerts all morning. Performance degradation, random crashes. We can't isolate the problem." Caldwell holds up a hand, silencing him. His eyes are still locked on the papers in his hand. On the elegant, brilliant solutions written in a 17-year-old's handwriting. Marcus stands there, hands still raised, watching the realization dawn on everyone's faces. "Who are you?" Caldwell whispers. Marcus takes a breath. "My name is Marcus Thompson. I work in your mailroom, and for the past 3 months, every time I delivered packages to this floor, I noticed something wrong with your systems, something no one else was seeing." The room goes silent. "I tried to tell people, I emailed your tech support, I spoke to supervisors. Everyone said I should stay in my lane, that I didn't know what I was talking about." Marcus's voice is steady, but there's pain in it. "So tonight, when I saw the alerts getting critical, I used the access card I found near the elevator to come fix it myself." Caldwell's hands are shaking now as he flips through page after page of Marcus's work. "Because in 6 hours," Marcus continues, "your entire system was going to suffer a catastrophic failure, and I couldn't just let that happen." The engineer who entered speaks up, his voice barely above a whisper. "Sir, if what he's saying is true, if this kid just saved us from a system-wide crash." He trails off, unable to finish the thought. Outside, the crowd presses closer to the glass. People start realizing something much deeper is happening. This isn't a security breach. This is something else entirely. The server room door bursts open again. Dr. Sarah Chen strides in, her ID badge swinging from her lanyard, identifying her as TechCore's Chief Information Security Officer. She's been with the company for 15 years, has 2 PhDs in computer science and cryptography, and has seen every kind of security threat imaginable. "What's the situation?" Her voice cuts through the tension like a blade. "I was told we have an unauthorized breach." Caldwell turns to her, relief flooding his face. "Sarah, thank God, this kid broke into our server room and claims he's been fixing a critical system vulnerability," Marcus finishes quietly. Dr. Chen's eyes narrow as she takes in the scene, the teenage boy with his hands still partially raised, the scattered papers on the floor, the notebook filled with complex notations, the crowd pressed against the glass outside. She walks past Marcus without a word and leans over the terminal, her eyes scanning the screens. Lines of code scroll past. System diagnostics flash red, then yellow, then stabilize to green in real time. Her fingers fly across the keyboard, pulling up logs, checking processes, examining the changes that have been made to the system. The room holds its breath. Dr. Chen's face goes pale. She pulls up another screen, then another. Her hands freeze over the keyboard. "Oh my God," she whispers. Caldwell steps forward. What is it?" Dr. Chen turns slowly, looking at Marcus with an expression that's equal parts shock and disbelief. "He's right. There's a catastrophic memory leak in our authentication layer. It's been compounding for weeks." She looks at her watch. "We would have suffered complete system failure in less than 6 hours." The engineer who came in earlier makes a strangled sound. "The entire network, everything." "Everything," Dr. Chen confirms. "Customer data, financial records, cloud infrastructure, all of it would have crashed simultaneously. Recovery time would have been days, maybe weeks." She looks back at the screens, her voice barely audible. "The damage would have been in the hundreds of millions, possibly billions." Outside the glass, someone in the crowd gasps loud enough to be heard. Marcus finally lowers his hands. "The vulnerability originates in the OAuth implementation. You're using a deprecated version of the security protocol that has an unpatched buffer overflow vulnerability. Every authentication request creates a small memory leak, only about 200 kilobytes, but you process millions of requests daily." He steps toward the terminal, his voice gaining confidence as he slips into the language he knows best. Over time, those leaks compound exponentially. The heap memory becomes fragmented, causing the garbage collector to stop. Caldwell holds up his hand, his face flushed again. "I'm not going to stand here and listen to some kid from the mailroom pretend he understands enterprise-level security architecture." Marcus pauses, hurt flashing across his face. "Sir, I'm just trying to explain." "Explain?" Caldwell's voice rises. "You expect me to believe that you, a 17-year-old with no formal education, no degree, no credentials, somehow identified a problem that our entire security team, people with decades of experience, missed completely?" "Yes," Marcus says simply, "because I've been watching your systems for 3 months. I've seen the patterns, the degradation curves. I mapped the memory allocation." "This is absurd," Caldwell cuts him off again, turning to Dr. Chen. "Sarah, he probably created this problem himself just so he could play hero." Dr. Chen doesn't respond. She's still staring at the screens, scrolling through Marcus's code with the focus of someone examining a work of art in a museum. "The elegance of this solution," she mutters to herself. "The way he's rerouted the authentication flow, implemented a custom memory pool, optimized the cache invalidation." She looks up at Marcus. "Where did you learn to code like this?" "Library computers," Marcus says quietly. "YouTube tutorials, Stack Overflow, anywhere I could find information." Caldwell laughs, but it's hollow, desperate. "You can't be serious. He probably copied this from somewhere, downloaded it from—" "Mr. Caldwell," Dr. Chen's voice is steel, "I need you to be quiet now." The CTO's mouth snaps shut, shock registering on his face. Dr. Chen turns to Marcus, her expression unreadable. "If what you're saying is true, then you understand this system better than anyone in this building right now." "I wouldn't say that," Marcus replies carefully. "I just saw something nobody else was looking for." "Then prove it." Dr. Chen crosses her arms. "We're going to run a full-scale stress test. Right now, I'm going to simulate peak load conditions, Black Friday levels of traffic, thousands of concurrent authentication requests, maximum system strain." She gestures to the terminal. "If your fix holds under that kind of pressure, then we'll know you're telling the truth. If it fails—" She doesn't finish the sentence, but the implication is clear. Marcus nods slowly. "And if it fails? Then this company suffers the worst data breach in its history. And you'll be held responsible." Dr. Chen's voice is cold, professional. "I'm also calling in the board of directors and our legal team. They need to witness this." Caldwell steps forward. "Sarah, you can't be serious. You're going to trust our entire infrastructure to—" "I'm going to find out the truth," Dr. Chen interrupts, "which is more than anyone else here has bothered to do." Within minutes, the executive conference room adjacent to the server room fills with people. The CEO, Rebecca Morrison, arrives in a blazer thrown over yoga clothes, her face tight with concern. Three board members, the head of legal, the VP of operations, all summoned from their homes, their dinners, their lives. The crowd outside the glass has grown to over 100 employees now. Security has given up trying to disperse them. This is history unfolding in real time. Dr. Chen positions herself at the main terminal, Marcus standing beside her. On the massive monitors mounted on the wall, code and system metrics display in real time for everyone to see. Initiating stress test, Dr. Chen announces, her finger hovering over the enter key. Simulating 500,000 concurrent users, peak load authentication protocols, maximum memory allocation. She looks at Marcus one more time, last chance to back out. Marcus meets her gaze steadily. Run the test. She presses enter. The room erupts in activity. Graphs spike across the monitors. Numbers cascade down screens. The servers in the adjacent room hum louder, their cooling fans spinning up to handle the increased load. CEO Morrison leans forward in her chair. What are we looking at? Everything, Dr. Chen replies without taking her eyes off the screens. If the system crashes now, we lose everything. 30 seconds pass. The authentication requests pile up. 100, 000, 200,000, 300,000. The memory usage climbs steadily but within expected parameters. Caldwell is gripping the back of a chair so hard his knuckles have gone white. Marcus watches the screens, his lips moving silently as he calculates, predicts, follows the data flows he mapped out in his notebook. 1 minute, the system holds. 2 minutes, still stable. Dr. Chen pulls up the memory allocation charts. The custom pooling system is working, memory isn't leaking, the garbage collector is. She stops, staring. It's actually running more efficiently than our baseline. How is that possible? I optimized the cache invalidation protocol, Marcus explains quietly, pointing to one of the screens. The old system was clearing the entire cache on every authentication cycle. I modified it to use lazy deletion with a reference counter so it only clears what's actually expired. 3 minutes, peak load sustained, no crashes, no failures. The board members exchange glances. 4 minutes, Dr. Chen starts running additional tests, throwing edge cases at the system, malformed requests, sudden traffic spikes, protocol violations, everything she can think of to break it. The system doesn't break. 5 minutes. Dr. Chen leans back in her chair, her hands falling away from the keyboard. She looks at Marcus like she's seeing him for the first time. It's perfect, she whispers. It's absolutely perfect. The monitoring screens tell the story that words can't capture. Every metric is green, every system is optimal. Every prediction Marcus made is proving true in real time. Dr. Chen pulls up the projected crash timeline. According to the original vulnerability pattern, system failure would have occurred at 2:47 a.m. tonight. We would have woken up to complete infrastructure collapse. She turns to face the executives. This teenager just saved this company from catastrophic failure. CEO Morrison stands up slowly, her eyes fixed on the screens, then on Marcus. How much would this have cost us? The CFO, who arrived 10 minutes ago, pulls out his phone and does rapid calculations. His face goes gray. Based on our quarterly projections, system downtime costs, data breach penalties, customer compensation, legal fees, and stock price impact, conservative estimate is $1.2 billion. The room goes silent. That's assuming we survived at all, the head of legal adds quietly. A breach this large could have destroyed the company entirely. Outside the glass walls, the crowd has heard everything through the open door. Phones are still recording. People are crying. Some are hugging each other, relief washing over them as they realize their jobs, their livelihoods were just saved. Dr. Chen walks over to the desk and picks up Marcus's notebook. She flips through the pages slowly, reverently, like she's reading a sacred text. These notes, this analysis, some of our senior engineers couldn't do this level of work. Hell, I'm not sure I could do this work. She looks at Marcus and her voice and get back to delivering packages. Shame settles over the room like a heavy blanket. Caldwell is standing in the corner, his face ashen, his earlier confidence completely evaporated. He looks at Marcus and for the first time really sees him. CEO Morrison walks over to Marcus. She's a tall woman, intimidating in most circumstances, but right now her eyes are wet with unshed tears. Marcus Thompson, she says his name carefully like she's committing it to memory. On behalf of TechCore Industries, I owe you an apology that words cannot adequately express. The next 72 hours become a blur. By sunrise, the video footage captured by employees has gone viral. TechCore genius trends worldwide. News outlets pick up the story. Teen genius saves billion-dollar company after being accused of hacking, reads the headline in the Wall Street Journal. Richard Caldwell submits his resignation that same morning. CEO Morrison accepts it immediately. In a public statement, she calls his behavior unconscionable and representative of biases that have no place in our organization. Caldwell's LinkedIn profile is flooded with angry comments. His reputation in the tech industry is destroyed overnight. 3 other companies where he served on advisory boards quietly remove his name from their websites. But the real reckoning happens in TechCore itself. The company launches an internal investigation into why Marcus's warnings were ignored. They find a pattern of dismissed concerns from junior staff, particularly from employees of color. The results are damning. Within a week, TechCore announces a complete overhaul of their internal reporting systems and commits $50 million to diversity and inclusion initiatives. They create a new program, the Marcus Thompson Innovation Fellowship, designed to identify and support young talent from underrepresented communities. As for Marcus himself, CEO Morrison calls him into her office on Monday morning. Dr. Chen is there too, along with the entire board of directors. Marcus, Morrison begins, we'd like to offer you a position, full-time, as a junior security architect reporting directly to Dr. Chen. Marcus's eyes widen, but I'm still in high school, I haven't even graduated. We'll work around your school schedule, Dr. Chen interrupts. Part-time during the semester, full-time in the summer. Starting salary is $150,000 annually with full benefits including health insurance for you and your grandmother. Marcus's voice catches, what? Morrison slides a document across the desk. We're also establishing a college fund for you, full ride to any university you choose, undergraduate and graduate programs, MIT, Stanford, Carnegie Mellon, anywhere you want to go. And, Dr. Chen adds with a small smile, we're giving you a one-time bonus of $500,000 for saving the company. After taxes, that should be enough to pay off your family's medical debt and set your grandmother up comfortably. Marcus doesn't speak, he can't. Tears stream down his face as the reality sinks in. Everything he's worked for, everything he's struggled with, every night he stayed up late studying after double shifts, every time someone told him to stay in his lane to stop dreaming above his station. It all meant something. Morrison comes around the desk and places a hand on his shoulder. We failed you, Marcus. We almost let our biases blind us to your brilliance, but I promise you we're going to do better. And it starts with supporting you. The story doesn't end there. Within months, Marcus becomes something of a legend in the tech world. He's invited to speak at conferences. Universities reach out asking him to visit their campuses. His face appears on the cover of Wired magazine with the headline, "The Genius They Almost Missed." But Marcus stays humble. He finishes high school. He works his new job with the same dedication he brought to stocking shelves and delivering packages. He mentors other young people from his neighborhood, showing them that their circumstances don't define their potential. His grandmother cries when he pays off her medical bills and moves her into a better apartment. I always knew you were special, baby, she tells him. I always knew. Mr. Peterson, his old computer science teacher, receives a call from Marcus one afternoon. You were right, Marcus tells him. You told me not to let anyone make me forget what I'm capable of. Thank you for believing in me when no one else did. Peterson's response is simple. I didn't give you your genius, Marcus. I just helped you see it was already there. 6 months after that night in the server room, Marcus stands on stage at a TechCore company event. Behind him, on a massive screen, is the photo that went viral, him in his worn hoodie, standing in the server room, eyes bright with determination. Genius can come from anywhere, Marcus tells the audience of thousands. From neighborhoods society has written off, from kids working minimum wage jobs just to survive, from people whose potential gets dismissed because of how they look or where they come from. He pauses, looking out at the sea of faces. The question isn't whether that genius exists, it's whether we're willing to see it, whether we're willing to listen, whether we're brave enough to challenge our assumptions about who gets to be brilliant. The audience erupts in applause. Marcus smiles. Someone once saw my potential when I couldn't see it myself. That changed my life. Now I'm asking you, whose potential are you overlooking? Who's trying to tell you something important but you're not listening because they don't look like what you expect genius to look like? More applause. People are standing now. Every hidden talent deserves a chance. Every voice deserves to be heard. Don't let bias blind you to brilliance. This story is real, it happened, and stories like it are happening right now in companies and communities everywhere. The question is, would you have recognized Marcus's genius? Or would you have been like the people who dismissed him, who deleted his emails, who told him to stay in his lane? If this story moved you, if it made you think differently about talent and potential and who deserves a chance, hit that subscribe button right now. We tell stories about people who overcome impossible odds, who prove that genius comes from the most unexpected places. Drop a comment telling us, have you ever been underestimated or have you overlooked someone's talent because of your own biases? Let's have that conversation. And most importantly, share this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear that their circumstances don't define their potential. Share it with someone who needs to remember to look beyond their assumptions. Because the next Marcus Thompson might be right in front of you. Will you see them?